blasting through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture, films, and the world we see. Deleted scenes, where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah, yeah. Steam it up on your YouTube, bro, let's roll.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American, and YouTuber Ronan. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of Unscripted. Tonight, we control the horizontal, we control the vertical. I want to say hello to everyone currently joining us on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. I want to say hello to a few people who have joined us tonight in the live chat. Starting off with channel member JPRPH1, who has now officially been a member of this channel for 2 years. Good to see you. I do want to remind all of my channel members tonight there will be a late night member stream, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. Scrolling down, I want to say hello to channel member Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube. Watch out for her channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Clary. My co-host on the Mystery Movie Night podcast, Enigma Severus. Host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review. Big Al presents. Amaze, amaze, amaze. Indeed. My other co-host on the Mystery Movie Night podcast, Sense Corner. All right. Now, I do want to remind everybody that this is not a review of the film. Even though I may go into certain aspects of it. I plan to do a whole separate review, hopefully this week. But I have seen the movie. I did see it on IMAX. This is really more about the state of Hollywood and are we starting to see at least certain segments right the ship? Now, I bring up Ryan Gosling in particular because he said something at a premiere for Hail Mary that I thought was interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen right now. This is from Variety, which is, I'm not anybody who's been following my social media feeds of late, now I am not a big fan of Variety, but they do have the quote here. There is a video that goes along with this. I didn't know if I was going to get hit for copyright, so I wanted to avoid that. All right, but here is the quote. 6 years ago, I got the manuscript for Project Hail Mary, the most ambitious thing I'll ever make. It seemed impossible. It was too good not to give it a shot. 6 years later, we did it. Here we are. We're all back in theaters. It's not your job, meaning the audience, to keep them open. It's our job, meaning Hollywood, to make things that make it worth you coming out. And he is absolutely correct. Um, there have been other actors who have been making sort of similar statements of late. Josh Duhamel being one, Vince Vaughn's another. Um, so I think there is, and I've been knocking Hollywood quite a bit lately, and not entirely unfounded. But while a number of them are off at some No Kings protest somewhere, there are others that are actually trying to do their jobs. And hello to Lieutenant Giratina. Good to see you, sir. Now, I am someone who has always been a fan of the cinema, as we say, ever since I was a little kid. I'm somebody who would go every week, sometimes twice a week. Sometimes I would go out and make a double or even a triple feature out of it. But lately, I haven't felt as impelled to go or compelled to go. You know what I mean? I don't feel the motivation to go to a movie. I very rarely, you know, I go see the mystery movie nights because I do a show on it. And oftentimes that's the only time I go to a movie. I wait for streaming. And going back to the pandemic for a moment. I had to do what everybody else had to do because they had closed down the theaters. So, I had to watch everything on streaming, just like everyone else. And hello to Real Aid Nation. Good to see you, sir. Real Aid Nation vlogging more. Right on. Now, I was someone who, up to that point, was not a big fan of streaming. Um, I was always more of a physical media guy. But when the pandemic happened, and the theaters weren't open, we had to, I had to do what I had to do, just like everyone else. And watch things on some kind of streaming service, or I had to find other ways, let's say, which obviously I cannot condone. I have to say that it can't be condoned, but we've all had to do it for one reason or another, and it's just the way it is now. But you've also had physical media start to die off. You have, the places that you could go, stores that you could go to, Best Buy, FYE, places like that, that stopped selling, physical copies of movies or had closed down altogether. So that made things more difficult and steered people more, again, towards streaming and other ways. And then you get what we've been seeing for the last 10 or so years out of Hollywood. This sort of movies that were more political agenda than actual films. And you were or just seeing movies that were mediocre because they were being made by people who were afraid to upset anyone. And there's, you could say that that's even worse. And I was starting to see a lot of that. And I got to the point to where I stopped watching commercial television entirely. I got to where I stopped watching series television almost entirely. Because you had shows that would be good for like one season and either would get canceled or pull some kind of bait and switch in season 2 that would make me not want to watch the rest. you know and then you get people, and I'm going to go into more detail about this here in a bit. You have people who for one reason or another start wanting to boycott certain films for whatever reason. And I'm not really a boycott guy. I'm not someone who's going to come on here and say, don't go see this movie for one reason or another. Go if you feel compelled to do so. I'm not somebody who wants to see the movie theaters die. I want us to go back to the time where we went every week and it was an event. And every movie, even the movies that were maybe not as good as the others, were still bangers in their own way. But I got to a point to where I got kind of disinterested, to a certain point. I kind of have to look at it as, if it doesn't look interesting to me for whatever reason, or if I think there's going to be some kind of agenda or some kind of propaganda from either side of the aisle. Don't get me wrong. There is a way for a movie made by people who are on the right to have their own brand of propaganda, or to try and shove some kind of agenda down somebody's throat. Both parties, actors from both parties are just as guilty of that, I believe. You have to make films, as Mr. Gosling has said. You have to make movies that people want to go see. And that's got to go for everybody. And this might be mildly controversial, but I don't care. You have to make movies for everyone to want to go to the theaters and go see. And Project Hail Mary seems to be that movie. I have seen the movie. I just today, just a few hours ago, finished the book. And I'm going to be talking about that in my own separate review, as I said. But there's the point. The point is, we seem to have a film that makes people en masse want to go back and see it in theaters. I know people who have seen this movie multiple times. When I went to the most recent mystery movie and I was waiting in line, and there are multiple lines to concessions and all. And there was a girl who was just ecstatic. She had a copy of the book clutched in her arms, and she was saying she had read the book like 5 times, had already seen the movie like 2 or 3 times by that point. Now, I haven't heard that kind of enthusiasm for a movie in a very long time. And it reminded that was what told me is okay, I want to see this in theaters. I want to pay for the ticket. I want to see this on the biggest screen that I can find. And it was the first time in years that I had been hyped to see a movie. And I missed that feeling. And this film brought it back. And I hope that Hollywood does not take the wrong lesson and just go, oh, that science fiction stuff is popular right now. Let's go out and make a whole bunch of them. No, no, no. That's not the lesson. The lesson here is that you had a film that was made by people who had respect for the source material, number one, was respectful with the property that they bought. Actually brought in the author of the book to oversee everything. And you had people who had respect for the audience, which is one of the things that this speech shows to me. Ryan Gosling is someone who respects the audience. I don't know what his politics are. He's not on social media telling people, don't go see my movie. He's doing the opposite. And it is about damn time. I want to hear more statements like this. Tom Cruise is someone else who's also very good at this. I don't know what his politics are. I can't tell from his movies. They're not agenda driven. And neither is Project Hail Mary. Now, there is a thing in the book where there is a character who is, I guess you could say, like a climate change activist. That character is not in the film. When ordinarily he probably would have been. So I find that interesting that they left that particular character out of the film. I mean, there are, you're talking about a book that has, like about 100 characters at one point or another. There's a lot of people. So the movie has to pare some of them down or cut them out completely. I get it. But the fact that I think most filmmakers would have kept that character, and a good chunk of the movie would have been all about that person. And they didn't go with that here. There's no agenda in this film. There's no propaganda. There's no woke. There's nothing like that. And man, it is a breath of fresh air. And I hope that we see more of it. And I want to see more actors say, let's make something that everyone wants to see. Let's make movies that will make people want to go back to the theaters again. I want to hear more actors say, it is up to us. Because it is. You can either make more movies like this that people want to go to see, or you can make agenda-driven propaganda that everyone's going to walk away from. You have to stop with this, don't go see my movie if you voted the same way crap. You know, because I know if there's an actor in a movie who says that, I walk. I don't call for a boycott. I just very quietly don't go. And it is that simple. And hello, Rachel. Good to see you. Did I listen to the book? Ray Porter's performance is fantastic. Yeah, and I agree with you, Sin, that he should have played Rocky in the film, but I understand why they got the guy they got, because he wasn't bad either. Hello, 2 hour from the Fusashi. Technically, there was a strong independent who didn't respect males to. Yeah, but not in like that way. It's normally shown in a film. Yeah, that is an interesting character, to say the least, or as I call her, crazy German lady. Yeah, yeah, but you know, there's one part without going too far into it, where she does something rather unconscionable, you know, and in the book they don't have her say it in the movie, but in the book she says, "I'm going to go to hell for that," and she means it when she says it, um, but if saving billions of people means I got to go to hell, I'm probably going. Yeah, I'm probably going there, which is interesting. Um, yeah, the audiobook. Yeah, is but I am going to go out and find a physical copy of it. Um, which I'm sure shouldn't be very hard. It's just that we're kind of running out of bookstores around here, sadly. Um, I have one in town, but I think they're out. I think they're out of copies of this. So, but I can always find out. I'm going to be going that way tomorrow anyway. So, uh, I didn't realize the guy they got was the puppeteer. So it doesn't make sense that they used him. Yeah, because the guy that they got, who like Sin says is the puppeteer. Um, yeah, he's perfectly fine in the part. You know, um, and he does bring his own thing to it. Very true. But yeah, I want to see more movies like this, and I want to see more of this kind of attitude come out of actors and directors. And there are certain people who I think are at this point are lost. But I've noticed that the ones that aren't are the ones that are not on social media a lot. And I find that interesting too. Now, I said I'm not somebody who calls for boycotts or anything like that. But the people who do want to boycott this film, we know why. They're not going to like a movie like this. The wokesters aren't going to like a movie like this because it goes against their narrative. This isn't a movie made for nihilists. This is not a movie made for death cultists. This is a movie made for everybody. And there's something else that might be controversial coming from me, but I thought about it before I said anything about it. Now, we have a Lord of the Rings movie that is apparently going to be written by Stephen Colbert. And now, as you know, guys, I am not a fan of Stephen Colbert, and I have my reasons for that. You know, his sister ran for office here in South Carolina, and he came down here acting like the high and mighty celebrity, and like, you must vote a certain way, like he normally does on his show, and it that doesn't fly with everybody down here. But he appears to be a fan of Lord of the Rings. Now, how much of a fan exactly, I guess we'll find out. But something hit me thinking about this over the week. You have Lord of the Rings, a story that appeals to people like Nerdrotic and appeals to people like Stephen Colbert. And isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of a good story? Is it's something that everybody can take something away from. You have these two diametrically opposed men who probably would not agree on anything else, but they both love Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to wait and see what he comes up with. And I'm not going to I'm the whole reason why I didn't go out and make a video or do an episode of this show about that is because, you know what? I decided I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance. And if he fouls it up, then we'll stick him with the proverbial spears. But until then, I want to see what he comes up with, and I'll give him a chance. If he can keep his politics out of it, who knows? Sasha says to boycott the movie the call to boycott the movie motivated me to watch it more. Yeah, same with me. Yeah, exactly. The only person I've seen saying they're boycotting the film is some loser on Twitter who's pissed Andy went on Will's channel for an interview. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. you know, sorry, movie Bob. I haven't, in case you haven't noticed from this show, I'm not a big fan of you and I'm not a big fan of boycotts, you know. Um, yeah, look, this boycott stuff is just stupid, guys, you know. Um, just because one lefty gets his panties in a bunch because, you know, listen, Andy Weir is trying to sell this film and he's trying to sell his book. He's free to go on whatever YouTube channel he wants to go on or whatever network he wants to go on who might, that's how this is done, you know? And he's free to do it. And if one guy gets upset about it, that's his problem. Sorry, guy, but that's how it is, you know. I mean, not only, does this make me have hope for the future of film. It's giving me hope for books too, because I'm seeing a lot of woke content, in print media as well, and I'm very careful about, not only what movies I go to see or what TV shows I watch, but about what books I buy. And there's just as much woke content in print than there is on film, sadly. So there are certain people that you have to avoid. And not to go too far down the road with this subject matter, and hello to Aged Boomer. I did see you, sir. um and not to go too far down this road tonight, but you also have to be careful of like books that are written entirely by AI, and you can tell. Uh, the problem is sometimes AI can write better than people. you know, excuse me. Don't hand out. Okay. Um, but you get my drift. Enigma says yes, because positive messages of friendship and working to save others must be negative. Yeah. I Since says I can tell Andy watches Will's content by the way he said the message during the interview. So funny. Yeah, I didn't have the chance to see the interview. I want to sit down and watch that now. It also makes me want to go back and read or at least listen to all of Andy Weir's books. Because I've definitely been missing out for sure. Um, I've already heard they're talking about doing Artemis as a movie now, which wouldn't surprise me. Um, so the Andy Weir train is about to leave the station, and you don't want to get left behind. The point of the show tonight ultimately is this: is I hope that this is a wake up call. And I hope that mainstream Hollywood gets the message. And I'm also very curious what Lord and Miller's version of Solo would have been after seeing this. So that's my I think there's hope for the future. And I hope that this is a signal of things to come. Because we need it right now. And I think we deserve it. So, my advice tonight is go out and see Project Hail Mary. Find it on the biggest screen with the best sound system that you can and decide for yourself. Read the book. Listen to the audio version. It's narrated by Ray Porter. It's brilliant. Go support a positive movie. This is what we've been looking for. So we got to tell Hollywood now that we want to see more of it. And we want to see it in theaters. And I'll be there watching along with you. Stay to the end of the broadcast. You'll be automatically redirected to Geeky Geezers, which is going to be starting here in about 17 minutes. Hosted by Aged Boomer, who is in the chat with us right now, along with Troy Pacelli and Netters Network. I do want to remind everyone who is a member of my channel that there is a member stream tonight in just over 2 hours from now, 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. I am going to put the link up here after this broadcast is completed. Tomorrow night is another mystery movie night. So, of course, that program will be at Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We got a pretty good idea what that's going to be. So we got a pretty big clue today that I think is pretty clear, and it's and we might be in luck because it's a movie that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. So yeah, join us Tuesday night for our review. Enigma says current top movies: Project Hail Mary, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Also a good movie. And as well as Redo, which I haven't seen. So I need to sit down and find that because it's not in theaters here. So, all right. I do want to thank everybody who was here in the chat. Want to thank everyone following along on X. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. And of course, thank you to anyone who might watch this stream later on, or anybody who was just here for a few minutes and wanted to check it out. Make sure to hit the like, share out the stream, say hello in the comments. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe and healthy. I'll see you at the movies, because this is how we win.
Busting through the noise with a culture attack. Pop culture, films, and the world we see. Deleted scenes where the truth runs free. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties we use to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Take care, stay strong, we're breaking the mold. Be safe, stay healthy, let the story unfold. From watch parties, reviews, to the news we spin. Deleted scenes, yeah, this is how we win. Yeah, yeah. Steve out on your YouTube, bro, let's roll.